everyone, welcome back to Coffee, Cocktails, and Capitalism. I'm Morgan Reynolds with Beyond the Trend, and today's guest is a client, someone I've actually had the privilege of traveling around the world with, and also a man of science. So I'm very excited to get into his journey and also some of the business that we've actually been able to do together, which is profitable for everybody. So without further ado, Matthew Hazen, thank you so much for being here.
Good to be here, Morgan. Thank you for having me.
No, my pleasure.
We're going to get into a lot of stuff today that I think the world needs to hear. I think it's a big deal.
Oh, I think so too. Matt is an incredibly intelligent person, and you've told me a lot of kind of your personal story, which I hope we'll share a little bit today because I think it's just really inspiring for other people. But I also want to kind of talk about this product and some of the scientific work that you're doing that we're able to be a small part of here Beyond the Trend. So all right, let's dive right into it. We have some great beverages courtesy of the Boston House. If you missed the portion of the video where we made these, please go back and watch it. It's right there on our YouTube channel. For those of you listening, you're missing out. You need to go watch the videos. So
yeah, I've gotten started on mine for a good reason.
Oh my gosh. Do you remember what this is called?
Apparition.
The apparition.
Yes.
Yes, in honor of the haunting.
I would say it's the best drink I've ever had. It's quite amazing.
Matt, you currently live in Kansas, correct?
Yeah, a little itty bitty town in Kansas.
Yeah, and you guys live a little bit of a country lifestyle.
Country as it gets.
Down on the farm.
Yeah. We decided when we started doing some big work and that we were drawing some big attention that it really felt comfortable to kind of be out in the middle of nowhere. So we are in a very small town. Everybody knows us. There's one way in, one way out.
That's
just
awesome.
So we got, many of us are farmers. And so we drink raw milk and we grow our own food. And, the kids can be outside and the little ones can play naked if they want with none of the neighbors or anybody to be able to see them. And it's the good life for us.
The good life. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And where are you from originally?
Missouri, Kansas City area. Okay. Yeah, so, a big
born
town.
And raised, that kind of area.
3 million people town. I was definitely kind of born up in the harsher part of Kansas City and, so lived that life a little bit when I was younger. And,
How big is Kansas City?
It's about 3.5 million people.
Yeah, so, it's a big metropolis.
Yeah. Definitely has all the things that a big city does.
Yes, the pros and the cons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so do you have brothers and sisters? Do you have a lot of family or not really?
Yeah, I'm the youngest of 4. So I'm my mom's only boy. Raised in a family that had an interesting background. So my grandpa was brought over here from Germany and our family was kept away from him. He was in CIA. And so there's a big long story there. And his name was changed twice.
Oh my gosh.
He was brought over in 1944. And so there's a whole long thing here. He was one of the top scientists in Germany. I didn't find this out until about 6 years ago. It just shocked me.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Now, do you believe in nature versus nurture or nurture versus nature?
Nature.
Okay.
Yeah, I look for the answers in nature.
Yeah.
The science that I'm involved with, I don't like man playing God type techniques. I believe in God's creation has the answers, and we can learn the cycles and patterns and the things that we need to know from there. I really take the highest level of sciences and nanosciences and apply the nature into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you heard that idea of as humans, we are who we are based on our gene pool, and there's not a whole lot that you can do about it externally? And then there are some people who think like we're kind of just born a blank canvas, and it's the things that happen to us and how we're taught and how we're built over time that make us who we are.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I'm not going to give you a popular answer.
Okay, I'm ready.
So it's going to go against what everybody has been told. I don't believe in, do you believe in unicorns?
I believe that they existed before the ark.
Yeah, but you would have to like see one, get on one, and everything to believe that they exist now.
Sure, yes.
Kind of
Like,
deal, right?
why haven't we seen them if they're
Right.
really out there? Yeah.
At least it's not proven,
Right.
you know. But we want to believe in. Yeah,
Right.
I want to believe I can buy one for my 4-year-old daughter too.
Of course, we all
Right.
want that.
So until they're proven, I don't believe in unicorns right now today, and I don't believe in viruses, and I don't believe in genes. Because until you can show me genes, until you can show me an actual DNA strand.
Oh.
And so that's a big topic, and that's not one that a lot of people, you know, we've been conditioned and mentally programmed. And so if I could see a virus underneath a microscope, then of course I wouldn't be able to say they don't exist. But until they're proven, they're not. And so I believe that we control our destiny. Now I also do believe that of course we look like our parents to a degree.
Right.
Of course we bring on the things such as from our parents' attitude and behavior and so forth. But to say like, you're born and you're going to get cancer because it's genetically predisposed in your family, I absolutely don't go with that yet. No,
okay.
No.
Interesting. Nobody's been able to see a true strand of DNA at the microscopic level?
No.
Interesting. I don't think I knew that.
No.
Well, we're learning
very
things
pretty
already.
CGI pictures.
Well, yes. You know, they had AI, how long? Like 20 years ago at the government level. So,
hard to tell, right?
Who really knows? We won't get into the moon landing today, though. We'll save that for another.
Thank you.
Save that for another conversation. Okay, so going back to Kansas, you, let's say you're in high school. Were you doing odd jobs? Were you making money?
Yeah,
What were
so
you
I
doing?
actually moved out on my own when I was 15.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So back then, I would say because of the way I was poisoned unknowingly growing up, every time I'd cough, my mom would take me to the hospital thinking she was being a good mom. So I'd riddled with tetanus shots, getting too many vaccines before they were even due, and yada, yada, yada. I had
She was a little bit of a hypochondriac, just over.
She thought she was being a good mom. Yeah. But, you know, I had heat seizures. I had, you know, on and on and on. Tubes in my ears twice. Tonsils taken out at young age. Glasses by 8 years old. Just all the things that a body, you know, surgeries everywhere. Lost all my hair at 15 years old in 1 month. And it fell off from the top down. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Luckily, I had a good girlfriend at the time, and she made me feel good about myself. So it wasn't too hard on me.
Okay.
But, you know, I was always curious. I always questioned everything, much more than anybody else. I never believed anything that my own mom and dad told me, which in the end I think really bore well, because it sent me on a way where, you know, I guess we'll kind of get into it. I got a PhD in smell and BS. But I also, but I also got a PhD in failure. So I've had to learn everything the hard way. And that's kind of a big thing in high school, being out on my own, having to pay all my bills that were all in my name. It was a different time back then. You could go get an apartment before you were 18. You could go do all, if you had the money and you could finish their stuff, you were good to go. And so I went into French Quarter apartments in the town and everything. So it definitely got me started off early. And it was very healthy for me. I had to always take care of myself.
Yeah. So you kind of had to train yourself to discipline yourself to take care of all the things, do all the adulting that maybe some of us find a little harder to figure out later.
Especially the younger people nowadays. Yeah. I had to find the answers. No one was going to pay my electric bill for me.
Yeah. No, they just like the buck stopped with you from 15 onward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you know, and at that young age, I got into a little bit of a trouble. I came across some very bad opportunities for such an ignorant young person trying to get started in life, and, you know, had to face the consequences of those things. And that really, really actually bore well for me in life. So I had troubles, and even legal troubles when I was younger. Yeah.
So do you want to share a little bit more? You don't
I
have to go
can.
into super detail.
I can, because I'm not proud, certainly not proud of it. And I'm
But you're not alone either. You know, there are other people who kind of have been on that same journey. And, you know, if one person can dig themselves out and really build a great life for themselves, why can't other people do that as well, you know?
Yeah. Isn't it kind of like we learn a lot of what we learn in life through our hardships and our struggles?
Yes.
And for me, those were hardships and struggles I put myself through.
Right. Uh-oh, there's no one to blame here except for me.
Right.
Darn
So
it.
at 18 years old, I found myself in federal prison in
Wow.
solitary confinement
Oh my gosh.
for
I
a
can't even
whole
imagine.
year.
That's insane.
Once a month, I got a 15-minute phone call.
Wow.
I had a little itty bitty mirror about this big. And all my problems were brought on, self-induced. And that was such a healthy thing. Now, of course, during any of our struggles, for any of us out there, we know we hate it when we're going through it.
Right. No, I was going to say, I'm sure this is like a hard-won perspective that you've kind of gotten to later in life to be able to look back and say.
Yeah. But the appreciation and gratitude that we come out of our hard times with, it shapes us, and none of us could be who we are and have the inner strength that we find without going through those things. And that was really, really true about me. Absolutely.
So you were there for a year.
I was in there for 5 years.
Oh my gosh. You were in solitary confinement for
1 year.
For the first year.
Yes. I couldn't get along with people. I thought I could still control and manipulate everything. I still thought I could find a way out. I still thought I could, overcome a situation with power and might and things like that.
Right.
And
force your way through.
Yeah.
And you were 18.
I was 18. Yeah.
Gosh,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah. So, when 23 years old came around, I got a chance to have a second chance at life again.
Okay.
And
what was your attitude then at 23 by the time you had kind of been through all of that?
I had made such bad decisions at 17 years old that just to have a chance at my freedom again meant everything for me. And I had a zeal and a zest and I had an unending energy that nobody could understand. And so I started getting into things like sales and things and health. Yeah. And so I was overly healthy and overly this and overly pushed.
Can you be overly healthy?
Yeah, I guess. I put a lot into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It kind of became your personality, as they say.
Yeah.
Like that's all you were.
I kind of felt like I was going to take care of the world and the community and my loved ones and my family as well as I was willing to take care of myself. And so I'd wake up at 4:30 and 5, and I had to take care of myself first before I could go try to help the world. But I was always in service to people. I always felt good about helping people. I always knew that's where I wanted to land. And so, and that kind of led me through life as I was kind of going through my own personal journey.
Yeah. Well, I know that about you. I know you have a very big heart and you really care a lot about the people in your circle and that you're responsible for, which is kind of a lot right now, right? Well, we'll get to that. Okay, so back to you got into sales, right? So that was something that, because I know sometimes people who have a criminal record have such a hard time finding employment when they first get out.
Yeah. And so, with me, I wasn't into there was no violence or anything in my record. I was caught in kind of a drug ring, I guess you would say at the time. And so I always kind of knew, you kind of how hard you worked is how well what you were going to make in money or whatever. And so when I started getting into traveling, sales and stuff like that, it was all up to me, right? And so I wanted to learn that craft at the time, and I enjoyed it. I excelled at it big, but more importantly, it was growing something in me. And I started going to attorneys with ideas and saying, I want to do this nonprofit charity group, and I want to take this money that I know I can make, and I want to put it into feeding world hunger. I want to solve world hunger. I want to solve these huge problems in the world that I knew would come back onto my family and make a better world. And I had that in me from the very beginning. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, and then you kind of got there in the end.
Yeah.
But first, for all the sales folks out there, because there's a lot of people that are in that career position, what are maybe a couple of tips?
Oh, I got some good ones for you.
Okay.
I got some really good ones for you.
I mean, this guy is a pro, you guys. I've seen him in action.
Top of the line. It really is. So here's the deal. You can't create any more energy or drive in you than what you're passionate about. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you know you're a fake, if you know you're selling something that's a fake,
right. If you don't believe in the product,
if you know in the back of your head it's snake oil or anything like that, you will not be able to do it. If you like cars, sell cars.
mm-hmm.
Okay. If you see the benefit in people having health that they've never had, then find how you're going to do that. And I guess I'm talking about my story when I say that,
Yeah.
So I would say this for anybody out there that understands they don't want to be the typical 9-to-5 slave in a corporate job.
Mm-hmm.
And so they want to be worth their contribution. So whatever I'm offering, whatever I'm doing, whether it's your own business or you're in a team with people, like you want to be able to be worth what you're worth in simple terms, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would say this. You're going to spend more time doing your business than you're going to be with your wife or your husband or your kids, especially if you're a guy, I guess. Well, I guess not in this world, right? Not in today's world. Right.
No,
so
everybody's out there working.
Yeah, totally. So I would say the first most important thing, and I've preached this to my 3 older sons, I've beat this into big groups of people. You need to be very passionate about what you're doing, else you will not be as successful as you could be, period. So find that thing that you believe is going to hold the highest purpose for what you believe in, which for me is service to the world. And then you will be able to take that and you'll be able to implant yourself into that and make it flourish. And in doing that and putting your energy into that, things like your how well you're taken care of, how much money you have, how successful, accolades, titles, whatever those other things that people are thinking is important, and to some degree they're important, but if you put yourself in the right space, those things will just come to you. They will flock to you. Yeah. So choose what you love.
Choose what you love.
You will spend so much more time with it than you will with anything else.
It's really true.
Yeah.
You know, in those building years, you will make a lot of personal sacrifices, but I think you're right. If you can find something that you believe in enough, and I think sometimes it's not, younger people can be discouraged because they don't like their boss, or they don't love the company, or, the company is not perfect from a moral standpoint. But if at your level, the service that you're doing that day is helping the person that you're taking care of or serving, or the customer or the client or whoever it is, hopefully you can feel good about that.
That's right. And when we're talking about like a boss or the work environment, if we're in a corporate setting or something like that, we're talking about things outside of us. We're talking about the environment, right? And so before going into that environment, before jumping into that specific fishbowl, think about, you need to stop and figure out, I'm going to be there for a long time.
Right.
Once I'm in that environment, I'm there. Is it going to be for my growth? Is it going to be for the things that are ultimately going to be important to me? And if they don't, just remember one thing. Your time that you're spending there, the energy you're giving them, your sacred energy, and your focus, that is what you have to offer them or anything else, yourself and all the world. Don't just give that up freely. Really think about what you're doing. And then when you know what's right, go there. And the commitment inside of yourself will already be there because it's what you chose as the most thing, Yeah.
Right. That you don't land yourself somewhere just by accident. Be really intentional.
Yeah, before you get there.
Yeah.
And then it's the easy part. Once you're there, it does itself, and then you won't have to worry about
figuring that out. Can be really challenging for people.
Many people
don't feel as much of a specific purpose,
Right. And look at the younger people today, which I have so much compassion for, because they get caught up and you got to go to college, you got to get a college debt, you got to do all these things in order to be successful, and they don't, and it's like, really, if you can think about what you're going to love being a part of and running and taking care of, and get that right. Like if it means sitting in a space by yourself for 3 hours or 3 days, do it.
Doing a little meditation,
Yes.
doing some inner work, looking, kind of trying to figure that out. So you're saying do all that sooner rather than later.
Do it at the beginning, the prep work.
Yeah.
Whether you're talking about like a construction job, building of this, detailing a car, I don't care what thing you're talking about.
Yeah.
Do all the prep work, and then the finale is easy. If you jump into things too quick, then you're having to double dip, go here. Well, I was working at this place and I'm working at this other place. It's kind of like that place, thinking it's going to be grass is greener, da-da-da-da-da-da. No, you're in the whole...
the atmosphere around you to change
Yeah.
your experience.
Yeah. Don't go through that till you're 35.
Old. Until you're really old at 35.
Find that as early as you can, and then you're off to the races.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you start kind of down the more, I don't want to say sciencey because that sounds
kind
not,
of. Yeah.
not intelligent, but a
Yeah.
more scientific career path. So you were in sales, you're making some money,
Mm-hmm.
you got a family at this point.
Yeah. I had
Okay.
6 kids all of a sudden,
So all of a sudden.
I went from 23 and I met a woman 2 days out of prison. She had 4 children.
Oh my goodness.
They did not have dads in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so I already had a son that I had at a very young age. So here I am.
It's like a Brady Bunch.
Yes, it was. It was. I was 23, 2 days out of prison with 5 kids.
That's so crazy.
That I was responsible for, which I loved. I loved. It gave me purpose. Yeah. You know what guy? I mean, I had all the energy in the world to go do the job I didn't really love, selling windows.
Right. Well, you did what you had to do, and you were taking care of your family, and that gave you purpose. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Totally. And, I was always into all kinds of things that people weren't into. So when I was 19, I was doing yoga.
Oh,
And I was doing, I was into weird things like astral projection far out. So I was just trying to figure out stuff, right? I was just trying to find things I'm interested in.
A metaphysical hippie down there in Kansas.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I was in prison at the time, but I'm just like, I wanted to learn. I just wanted to like far out there, let me metaphysical. Let's look at it.
Okay.
And I don't land there now. I don't. Now, if it's not logical, quantifiable, provable, replicatable, objective, publishable in a scientific and medical journal, I can't touch it, because if I say anything on that level, that can be discredited on so many other levels that I wouldn't want to compromise or risk, because the work that we're talking about when we're going to get into clarity changes not just individuals' lives on a deep level, but has the absolute possibility. We can logically look at it and say, well, hold on, if it does that for individuals, what if a whole family's taking it? What if a whole community's taking it? What if a whole country's taking it?
Yeah.
And we can kind of build from there. So scientific people started coming into my life, and that approach, and that grounded approach, and not looking at assumptions or allegations or like what people just randomly believe.
Right.
I started
following the scientific method, having a process and procedures for things. Okay.
I fell into a gap where I knew that all truth is provable. So truth is provable. I'm not saying that truth that is real, that hasn't been proved yet, doesn't exist. Of course it does on all levels, because
we haven't proven everything yet.
We've only scratched the surface. We've only scratched the surface. Your highest level scientists, not the guys you're going to talk to every day on a show like this. I mean, this is a unique opportunity, but people that have been in nano labs, people that are actually accomplished, double-blinded, peer-reviewed authors of medical and scientific journals, they are going to tell you all the same thing. The more they learn, the more they realize they don't know. And so the people that want to be the know-it-alls or claim to be the experts that are not, they're the ones that say, this is how it is, and blah, blah, blah. No, it's usually what I found when you're looking at how anything works, right? We're going to get into other things here, but it's like it's this and that. It's not this or that.
Yes.
To some degree, right?
Wasn't that Einstein who kind of talked about how certain things couldn't be proven? Was that him?
Yeah, he has a lot of that.
Einstein quotes, but yeah, I think the idea is kind of the more intelligent someone is, the more they can realize that they don't know yet.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
the more humble and modest they will be.
Yes.
They will not come off like that cruddy guy that's just going to tell you that's how it is and you're stupid.
Right, right.
That would
you
not.
can't tell them anything. They know it all already.
Right.
No, yeah. People of higher intelligence who are doing a lot of research understand that there's so much. What do they say? Like, you know enough to be dangerous or something, or I know enough to know what I don't know.
That's so true. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
They start getting in front of a little bit of equipment, and then the more they're there, and the more they're around people that have made a whole life and experience, or are much more, published in a lot of regards. They see their demeanor because I can't change the fact that I live inside of my head, and the more
that's true.
and the more I like find something great, like, wow, okay, well that just gave me 5 more questions I don't have the answers to. Dang it. And so the more we learn what we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really a gift to be a curious person.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Totally.
I think sometimes it can be difficult when you're with a lot of people day to day that don't appreciate that. But ultimately, curious people are the ones who ask enough questions to get us someplace new.
Yeah. And be always go away from people that don't want you to ask too many questions. The greater the mind that you're talking to, the more they will love that you keep asking questions because they see themselves in you.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Yep.
So you started hanging out with people who were also curious and studying and researching and trying to discover things.
Yeah.
And how did you end up getting into a nanoparticle formulation business? Yeah.
So I had and we're talking about clarity. We're talking about a formula that has studies to back it.
Right here,
yes, absolutely.
So this is a business venture Matt and I are in on together, and I am obviously, I know this is shocking, I'm not the scientist in this deal. So we have Matt, and he's got a team and a company and an organization behind him. And so tell me a little about how you kind of got to get into all of that.
So dealing with my own loved ones' personal health issues and just learning the alternative, natural way, healthier way of trying to stay healthy mentally, physically, and all that. We came across a product at the time, and it was doing things for people that no one had seen a product do before. And so you were seeing a decent amount of the users would start to like dream much more and vivid, which is a clear-cut sign that their pineal gland, which is a very important part of our endocrine system, central nervous system. It's really our third eye. It's not a woo-woo subject. The pineal gland is right by the pituitary gland. It is responsible for the production of the serotonin hormone, which is the feel-good hormone.
Right.
And it's also, so when you get like a great deep night of sleep and you wake up and you're like, I feel good. That is serotonin. And melatonin, which is like your deep dreaming vividness.
Right.
In your pineal gland, a lot of people don't realize have rods and cones in them, just like your eyeballs.
Oh, interesting.
So we look at each other, but then we also, if we're picturing something inside of our heads, that's done with our inner eye, our third eye. They kind of, the slang. Yeah. And it also builds that connection that natural humans, when they're healthy, should have.
Yeah.
It's a very important part of us being human, not just animals.
Right. Well, and we know it's very popular right now to take melatonin at bedtime because people seem to be deficient in it, or their body has a very hard time winding down or sleeping or falling asleep, staying asleep. Yeah.
But we should be very clear. Going to CVS or Walmart and buying off the counter melatonin and taking it, we're not going to feel. You can think that you feel something like that. Is it going to bring on much deeper sleep from then on out and stuff like that. No, it's not. It's extracted. The
And you're
pharmaceutical
not
process
supposed to
is
take
different.
it for that long either, because then
Right.
anything it is doing is starting to mess with your body's natural ability.
And your
natural
body will
ability
shut
to do
down
it.
making it
Right.
even more so.
Right.
Absolutely.
Which is
absolutely.
crazy, because I had to take melatonin for a long time, actually.
Totally.
I was a
and
very
totally.
bad sleeper.
Yeah. And that's the exact opposite of how clarity works. So we'll get
Right.
into that.
Yeah. So, but I want to go back to, you told me like at one point you were living out in Kansas and you were thinking about how things are made up of
Yeah.
like these tiny little nanoparticles. And then you found some people that were doing a bunch of research in laboratories about this very subject. So tell us a little about that.
Yeah. So I started geeking out on what is nano? What is nanotechnology? What does that even mean, right? And in simplest terms, if we're gonna, just keep everybody abreast on this, it's like it is making things that are maybe microscopic, microscopic range, and making it thousands of times smaller into a nano range. And essentially what that does is it means it will go into deeper parts of our bodies or living organisms or the environment.
More accessible to your cells.
Becomes much more
right?
metabolizable, much more digestible. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And not just us, but our environment. And it makes it much more effective. And so, these big corporations, multi-billion-dollar corporations that are doing anything from industrial processes, making pesticides, pharmaceuticals, they realize that the smaller you make things, so if you take one particle and turn it into 10,000 particles, it is not just 10,000 times more effective, it's actually like 100,000 times more effective.
Yeah.
So, and it's cheaper in the end. After you take the research and development and get the process down, it's actually cheaper and thousands of times more effective. So I got into that, long story short. And after seeing that company's product that was doing some unusual things, unfortunately in the world, there's so many examples of this, and I don't want to go down into this rabbit hole. But these people were all of a sudden going to groups like World Economic Forum, the Davos group. They changed their formula. It was just contaminated. And I was, that was such a bad thing for the world, right? Because, and I thought, well, there's something there. And I was talking to, and so I thought, this can't leave the earth. This has got to come back. This has got to be resurrected and even better.
Yeah.
And so I ended up making phone calls one day, trying to replicate this product, and found a founder to a nano lab. He was the chief scientific officer for Kansas State.
This is the craziest thing when you told me this. I was like, what are the odds, Just that sales cold calling instinct, right? You're like, I'm just going to find the person that I need to find.
That can tell me what to do, because long story short, I'm in a little place in Kansas, a little tiny place, a loud ultrasonicating homogenizer, doesn't matter what it is. It's shooting gamma rays. It's making the most annoying sound in my family's house. My wife's going crazy. My dog's running laps because it's going the most annoying sound. And I'm not breaking the product that we were looking at down to the nano size.
So you were trying to do this at home.
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out.
Driving your family insane.
I was.
I see. Okay, yes.
And so I went outside of my camper and I put in nano labs, and Kansas State University was right up the road. And it was I must have called it the perfect time, because the assistant to the CSO, the chief scientific officer, answered the phone and ended up passing the phone to him during the conversation.
That's hilarious.
And I said, hey, I'm just trying to save the world. I'm trying to make something that's better.
Right.
And he said, I don't even know what you're talking about with this mineral, this zeolite mineral that's in clarity. And he said, give me a call in a week. I'm in Washington, D.C. right now doing the big presentation. Guy was dealing with all kinds of big companies and stuff. And he called me in a week, and we became friends. And he told me, he's like, if I'm going to have students at Kansas State do this, it's going to cost like $500,000, and we'll get it done in 3 or 4 months. We're going to reverse engineer some similar products. We're going to figure it out, and we're going to build it back better. I was like, oh, this is great. He's like, I don't have any money. And he knew that.
Right.
And he's like, but if I have my staff do it, it'll take like 9 months, but they got to do it when they're not with their students. And it'll be like 300,000, but you got to wait some more months. I'm like, I can't do that. He's like, so this is what we're going to do, because I believe in you. And I don't want to put out his story too much, but I guess I haven't said his name, so I'm just going to say this. Later on, he told me that that week he had bought a gun. His entire life's work in nanotechnology, keep in mind he's a founder to a nano lab. He was doing work for Pfizer and for Monsanto. And his whole life's work was being used in things that was harming people, such as vaccines and pesticides. And he was going to end his life because of the emotional, what it was doing to him. He was married with kids. So when he told me that I needed to meet him up there at 6 o'clock at night every night when everybody was gone, and we would do the work together because I didn't have $1 I could pay him. And he would do it for the world. Okay. And that's what he did.
So it was good for him. It may have saved him.
For his conscience, it saved his life. It saved his life. He didn't buy a gun not to. He bought it. Yeah.
No, it's terrifying.
So I know that's so extreme for people, but
again, I think we would all be surprised how many people we probably know that have probably had that same thought at some point.
Yeah.
Because the world is a tough place.
Yeah.
You know.
And they took all the goodness that he thought he was making and creating and all his great science, and then it was being used to harm us.
Yeah.
And he even harmed his son, to be honest with you, which I don't want to get into.
Yeah.
And so that was getting him.
So you were going in up there yourself, like really getting your hands dirty.
I was looking at dynamic light scattering devices.
You're like, I'm a window salesman. What is this doing?
Right. High resolution transmission electron. Yeah, I was a contractor. So yeah, there was like a 10-year gap. I was just a contractor selling jobs, right? You know, my own company, right?
Okay.
But you know, yeah, totally. And then you know, had a little moving company, and I used the moving company actually for so it was just totally normal guy, right? Just on a pipe dream.
Yeah, bootstrapping it.
Yeah.
Bootstrapping it to your dreams. Yeah.
But now all of a sudden I'm in a nano lab with $5-10 million in nano equipment, looking, learning, listening one-on-one.
Right. Yeah.
And that type of mentorship puts me ahead of anybody with a college education and all that kind of stuff, because you can't beat experience.
Right.
To be an expert, the one thing that's required to be an expert in nano or anything else is experience.
Yeah.
And when people say, I got a degree, I got a PhD in this or that, that doesn't mean anything. That means you were in school. That doesn't mean you have any experience.
Right.
You know, and you might have been taught bad science or pseudoscience, which is pretty common in today's, you know, world, unfortunately, with colleges and stuff.
Yeah.
So we ended up, you know, came across a mineral rich, it's sea minerals that is structured. And what it does that we haven't seen any other product do like this before, which we've proven in now 6 different third-party tested, all different third-party testing labs. So each time it's a different third-party tester.
Okay, yeah.
All getting very similar results of 55 to 80% reduction in things that are very harmful for us that we hear about, kind of like mercury, lead.
Yeah.
We've heard of like aluminum's real bad for us. Things like glyphosate, like a pesticide.
Right.
Yeah,
that was in Roundup.
That's Roundup.
Recalled and everything. Yeah.
So we did those studies and ended up finding the very best formulator of our time, who's also our most published in the gold standard of science, double-blinded, peer-reviewed scientists that wanted to come aboard just to help. It's like a big group of people that say, like, this can help the world. Like, I will help. I got some experience to offer. That's kind of what happened.
People just banding together because they kind of believed in the cause.
It's just like you. I mean, you know, I think that if you told how if people could understand your skepticism, you know, I think we've all been jaded. We've all been told like 1,000 things are the greatest thing ever. This thing's going to change your life, Morgan, for the better.
Right.
I've heard that a time or two.
Just sign on the dotted line. Just give us all your money, right?
Right. Take this. I don't care about your problems. Just take it and you'll be better.
No, I know. It's and I think people's skepticism ranges, right? But I think you know, I've had some ups and downs in life too, and I think that sometimes you kind of just get into survival mode and you're like, okay, I just have to take care of me, or I have to take care of what I need to take care of. And, this other stuff that you're telling me doesn't super matter.
Right.
So I went to England where you all were working on a study, and you were interviewing what do we call them? Clients?
Study
Patients,
participants.
Participants in the study. So they'd been conducting a study with this product, and then we were filming, our team was filming the participants' stories and their testimonies as to how they were feeling and, what kind of, results were they getting. And it's a detox product. I don't think we actually covered that.
Yeah.
So the mineral zeolite is helpful in detoxing things from your body. And you have figured out how to make it small enough that it's super easy to absorb, and it can go deeper into the cells, like kind of pull out smaller pieces of pollutants and things that have built up over time.
Yeah. In simple terms, I guess people should know this in microbiology. Our bodies,
nobody remembers that far back. That was
right?
Freshman year of high school. Okay.
You probably read one sentence when it said it.
Right.
But our bodies are 99% water and mineral molecules.
Mm-hmm.
We are not all these things like vitamins, glutathione, all these supplements and stuff. We are water and minerals. And then in our environment nowadays, unbeknownst to 99% of us, it's very polluted.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of toxins.
More people understand, like you turn on your tap water and it has a funny smell, and you're like, oh, there's stuff in the water. I need to, get things that are filtered, or I feel better when I've eaten organic food. Like I think people are kind of starting to understand that, preservatives and pesticides and things like
dyes,
that.
those kind of things.
Yeah, it's all kind of taking its toll, and it's not the food our grandparents used to eat.
And it doesn't just go in and leave. We don't just flush it out.
That's
they're called forever chemicals. And so we may be invincible when we're 20 and we get to be 30 and be like, it's kind of like our bodies. We get 40s and 50s and it's really there. Yeah.
Which, not to deviate, but just quickly, that's a little bit where now we're all kind of working with and talking to some folks that are working on formulating peptides.
Yeah.
And peptides kind of also partner with that idea of like, as we age, we just start to feel worse.
Yeah.
And if you maybe detox the junk out of you and you're maybe giving your body what it needs instead, you don't necessarily have to feel so crummy in your 30s, 40s, 50s.
You don't have to feel crummy at all. I'm almost 50 and I'm in the best health of my life. We don't have to feel like that. We just have to learn, and we have to realize that the way we've been looking at our health and our lifestyle regimen has got us to wherever we're at, whether goods and bads and stuff that we have going on with us individually. And if we had all the answers and if what we were doing was working, we wouldn't be where we were at. And if we want to have the highest level health, and we all got to realize this too, and this comes with age and experience, the more we go, like, what matters if we could wake up tomorrow and us and our loved ones are happy and healthy? Doesn't matter if you got $1 or $1 million in the bank account. I mean, would you take $1 million today if you're going to wake up feeling worse than you've ever felt and you have health issues that you can't get control of? No one would. That wouldn't be worth it, right?
Right.
So, understanding, again, our bodies start off water and minerals. Toxins get in there, crud up everything in simple terms. If you can get those toxins out, get the right minerals back in, our bodies work again.
Yeah.
And it's really that simple. And then peptides again. Yeah, peptides, which are naturally found in the body. And so you're taking things that are naturally found in the body.
Aminos, proteins.
Yeah, amino acids, enzymes, peptides. These are natural things that are found in the they're byproducts of natural metabolic functions in the body. And this is not something that we're going to hear every day, because if people understood this every day, we would all be healthy. And I don't know if the people that own everything are interested in us being so healthy.
Well, yes, that's a
And
much
that's
a
different.
much deeper conversation
Different.
for another
I don't want
time.
that one.
But so what's cool is, so we were in England and we were kind of listening to these people tell their stories, and you know, as I told you at the time, like you were like, Morgan, how much of this stuff do you even buy into? And I was like, well, like 50-60% usually, you know, like, you know, all the conspiracy rabbit holes and stuff.
Or less.
Right, or it depends on the day. But but I'm sitting there listening to these people tell their stories, and like a wide range of people. You know, there were women my age, there were older couples, there were like younger guys that are like active, fit, you know, runners, and you know, entrepreneurs and traders and stuff. And you know, one after another, they all started sharing that they were sleeping soundly. They were having dreams. They had more energy. They had fewer cravings. And they kept saying this word over and over again. They kept saying, I just had more mental clarity. Yeah. It was easier for me to make decisions. Therefore, I was happier and less stressed out in my day. Yeah. And I felt like I had clarity. Yeah. And then we were sitting around the table and I was like, you know, if I was selling this product, I would just call it clarity. Yeah. And then you were like, Morgan, you should do that.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a powerful formula, and it needs stewards, and it needs people that have seen firsthand what it does for others and what it does for themselves. Mm-hmm. I don't think that you're all the way bought in quite yet. I think that you had to take it yourself and feel for yourself.
No, I did. So I started taking it for a couple of weeks, and the first thing I noticed is that I did start sleeping better. Now, I hate dreaming, so... because I told him, I was like, listen, I don't need more dreams. I need less dreams. I don't want to wake up feeling like I lived a full day in my sleep, which is what my crazy brain does. But I used to kind of dread going to bed because I either was going to toss and turn all night, wake up 4 times, and then feel like garbage in the morning, or I was going to have some type of weird zany dream that didn't make me feel great, and then I would wake up still feeling tired and stressed out. So, but now I don't dread going to bed anymore, and I'm not having to take as much melatonin. I'm not having to take all the like, you know, sleep aids or, you know, piles of magnesium or whatever. It's like at nighttime, I just go to sleep, and then I wake up feeling better. I'm less stressed in my decision making throughout the day. Yeah. That part happened.
Did all your problems in life go away?
Of course not.
Right.
And also, if you stop detoxing and you put a bunch of crud back in your system, then also you don't feel great.
It will go back. Yeah.
So.
But it's nice to kind of get that support.
It's kind of like it takes the edge off some of the other toughness that you're dealing with throughout the day.
Absolutely.
Like if your brain can just think a little bit more calmly about all of the problems that we inevitably have to solve every day. Yeah. I mean, especially I'm a business owner, you're a business owner, you know, there's always going to be, you know, that phone call you didn't want to get, or that text message that, you know, oh, now I have to deal with this or fix that or whatever it is. Right. So it support is a good word. Like it's made it better and easier. So I started giving to my friends. I'm like, listen, like, I know I'm the first to say that this stuff is hooey, but you got to try this.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just to be able to get, I don't know if support's a good word, but it's like just to be able to get that edge, get that, just to get that lift a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's like a lift, you know, just to be able to know that 50% of the things that are keeping us from just going is not going to be there the same, is huge for our production, for everything we're doing. Right. Like, can you be a little bit more patient with your spouse? Yes. Or the people that you're working with, right? Because every little bump in the road is not such a like, you know, like you don't get quite as worked up because your body's not fighting 5 different other things at the same time. That's right.
So if you can just let it function the way it was kind of meant to function, right? It's like that's kind of what all this health stuff is trying to do, is get your body back to a place of what did they say, homeostasis? Yeah. And you know, with the again, we're talking about completed proper clinical studies that then can go through a publishing process Right. That was
which
your
is,
goal, right?
yes,
Is to be
to
able to do
prove
a
it.
true scientifically recognized process.
Yeah, and then to do it testing different ways, not just testing the hair or the blood or the urine, testing silicon-based semiconductor, everything that is going on in our wild world that harms our health, to be able to do that. But it improves our ability to, oh God, this is going to sound crazy, tolerate life, tolerate our loved ones. Our
Listen,
tolerance
life
level
is
towards like
hard.
a phone call that we don't want to take, like you're saying, you know
No,
what
it
I'm
happens,
saying?
though. That's a real thing.
Right. If everything is 50 to 80% better, which is what the results keep showing, and what the publishing houses for medical and scientific journals keep saying, this passes our highest rigor.
Yeah.
Rigor that big pharma cannot meet ever. Ever.
Right.
With their medications and vaccines. Good luck finding a double-blinded, peer-reviewed paper that is published saying big pharma stuff. Now,
Well,
I'm not against big pharma
for all that when you're at that level, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But just to know that this has that type of backing,
right,
with no negative, harmful side effects,
right,
and we're not dealing with something that's $1,000.
right.
We're dealing with something that is actually affordable for everybody's life.
Right, because it's simple. It's the zeolite mineral.
Yep.
And then that is what it is, the detoxifier, and grabs the pollutants and stuff to pull it out of the body. And then it replaces it with minerals, or there's a reason why you don't feel like hungover from detoxing.
Such a big scientific conversation here, but I guess we'll try to do it really quick.
I'm like, you know, the little thingy in the thing.
Yeah. So there's like this whole electromagnetic.
I'm the girl who sits next to you at work. I don't really know how this stuff works. I just know what's working for me. So, yeah.
You know, if our bodies had the natural things in them, instead of trying to use and process and handle heavy metals instead of minerals in our body, you know, once we get those heavy metals out, and then the minerals are, because clarity is not just pulling toxins out, at the exact same time it's replacing it with the minerals, because clarity is a super duper small, we're talking about things that are 10,000 times smaller than a blood cell.
That's kind of terrifying.
It's going right to your brain, your central nervous system, your endocrine system, your expiratory systems, excretory systems, all these parts of your body. And it's going deep and grabbing out things that are stuck there, that are preventing your body from just functioning properly.
Right. Stuff from air pollutants. Stuff that's been in all the food that we've been eating. Stuff that's in the water. We're not able to get clean, you know, bottled water somewhere, right?
Yeah.
You know,
So
like,
all of
it
this
all kind of builds up and makes you start to feel a little murky, a little foggy.
Yep. And we don't even realize just how bad it is, because it creeps up
over time.
Yeah. We don't realize at 40 how well we thought at 22. And
I
so
realize that. I'm like, where are my keys? Like, you know?
Right.
Why is this so difficult?
Right. And so just, you know, to put the body back into its normal state, I'm a big believer that God knows more than my doctor down the road. So I want to, the thing he created, my beautiful body, I believe, okay, let's get the crap out that's in the environment. I'll trust that, and then put back these natural minerals that he made on earth and let it start working again. And then all these other issues I'm dealing with that I've been going to doctors for get much better. Right. And it's that simple.
Yeah. And nobody's saying to throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? If you've got some health conditions and you're treating it in different ways and stuff like that, but you can kind of layer something like this in with what you're doing. It's not going to conflict with anything, but it might help your body function better.
It will not conflict with any medications.
Right.
We have a study right now with 350 people out of 22 countries. Quite a few of them are on some type of medication. Most people are on some type of medications and stuff. And so for no one to ever have negative, harmful side effects, because you're taking something supernatural.
Right.
You know,
naturally occurring in nature.
It's sea minerals. I mean, what seawater? You're talking about sea
Every
plasma.
time you go to the beach, don't you feel better?
Yeah, totally right. You get in the water and you get on the beach and you get in the sun.
In a bottle. That's what we should have called it, Matt. Okay, the next round, the next iteration, guys.
Yes, that's so true. Beach in a bottle. That's so true.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's wonderful that all of the experts and people that are so passionate about this had to see it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They had to feel it for themselves. And once they were there, no one had to tell them, talk them into a marketing. No one had to show them some marketing commercial or anything else. They said, oh my gosh.
They didn't have to read the slide deck and ask for more specs or whatever. They kind of got it.
What if everyone at home felt this good?
Mm.
What if everybody at home was sleeping better than they've slept in a long time and had more clarity? Maybe we would be thinking about all the things out there we all should probably be thinking about, because our world just is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's probably going to take like all of us being involved to change it.
Right. Like if a few more people could be a little less overwhelmed and able to kind of like stay in it mentally a little bit longer every day to
not want to escape,
problem solve. Right.
Yeah,
the escapism.
Into their phones or drugs or whatever they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with some escapism, but like if you start just kind of feeling the need to check out of all that stuff because you just can't mentally process
a great point.
it.
That's a wonderful point.
You know, then all of us are losing out on somebody else's contribution.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we're missing it, you know, it's no fun to be in a conversation you can't remember hardly any of it either. That's what happens with brain fog.
Yeah.
It's nice to be involved. It's nice to be able to feel where the person's coming from, not have so much judgment because we're more in tune and there's more compassionate instead of separatism kind of deal. And that's, I think that's, again, science doesn't understand everything. And there's a lot to that kind of stuff that really makes us happier, whole in our communities and what we're all supposed to be about.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that purifying and cleansing our bodies of these things that are really preventing us all from being as healthy as we used to see people in the 1970s at the beach, right?
Right.
Look at the way we were in the 80s, and now it's like we are not that anymore. You know, but what if we could all get back there?
Yeah.
Because we can.
Yeah.
We actually can if we take clarity.
Yeah. Well, Matt, I am super thankful for you doing all that hard work and coming on that long journey, so that a simple working gal like myself can just show up and put a pretty label on the bottle and say, yeah, this works.
I'm so appreciative because this can't be done with one man or a small team. This has to be done by all of us. And so for you guys to witness what it was, be willing to try it when you'd been jaded like we all have been, and then to come out of it like, wow, I want to help. And for us to all jump aboard this journey, you know, now we're getting some major attention. You know, I believe Clarity's been on shows like Candace Owens and stuff.
I know,
and that,
which is so crazy.
Yes, which is big. And for her to honor that and so forth, there's a lot to build here. And I think that a happier, healthier humanity is the biggest one.
Well, that's what we all want. And we all get to benefit when our friends and neighbors and our family members are feeling better. So that's what it's really all about.
Absolutely.
Matt, thank you so much. You guys, you can learn more about Clarity at clearthefog.org. And if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. Follow us on all the social media and tune in next time for more coffee, cocktails, and capitalism. Thank you, guys.
Yay.
All right, now we can finish our wine.
Yes, that's right.